That was close. All right. Jonah, I may have found it. The hidden city. I'm gonna look for the serpent with a silver eye. Hello? Who's there? Hello? I can help you.
Get back! You don't belong here!
Listen, I know it hurts, but... Trinity.
Thank you.
¡Cuelgue! ¡Cuelgue!
Who are you? What's your purpose here?
I'm a researcher. Lara Croft.
They'll be back. We must find safety. Bring her. You're not only my son, you're my heir. You must not court unnecessary danger. Had you not been there, would this woman have found us? I'm glad you're safe. If you're not with the cult, how did you find this place?
I followed a map from a temple. I was expecting ruins, not you or any of this. The cult, why did they attack your son? I recognize their insignia. I know them as Trinity. I'm trying to stop them.
Stop them from doing what?
They're looking for an artifact. Some sort of box connected to a moon goddess.
Why do you want it? To steal it? Sell it?
No. I just can't let Trinity, the cult, get to it first. They're too dangerous.
Why? What have they done to you?
They killed my father. Can I show you something? Do you know what this is?
This is Paititi. You're already here.
Paititi, the hidden city. But what's this eye?
That is a place of death and sacrifice. And you think your artifact is there?
Yes.
No, none who has gone has ever returned.
I'd be willing to try.
You would risk it simply to stop the cult.
Yes.
Bring him in.
Jonah.
Are you okay?
Do you know this man?
He's my best friend. Abby.
She's fine.
Who else is looking for you?
There's no one else.
I believe we're seeking the same thing. We will bring you to the serpent with the silver eye, but we'll keep your friend here. You won't get very far if you're lying, and he will not be comfortable.
You don't need to do that.
It's fine. I'll stay.
Etzli, get this woman some clothes. Uchu, keep him company.
I'll be back as soon as I can.
All right. Pretty nice place.
Quiet.
This is incredible. I don't know your name.
I apologize. As the rebel leader, I have to be careful. I am the rightful queen, Unuratu. Etzli, you still owe me a scouting report.
Yes, Mother. There was one thing this morning.
Yes? Look around if you wish. I will be in the market across the river, ready to find the box of fishing.
I saw Hakan debating with his neighbor. He seemed angry. As I came near, they suddenly stopped talking. Then they started laughing as if one had told a joke.
He's planning something. Good work.
Thank you, Mother.
As you can see, secrets don't stay secret for very long in Paititi. If you were to deviate from the plan,
You'd find out quickly. I see that.
she's here to help me find something I lost. You don't have to worry about that.
Was Father a scout when he was my age?
He was a hunter.
Was he ferocious?
He could be, but he was also very kind.
Either quali.
Look around if you wish. I will be in the market across the river when you're ready to find the box of fishing. The cult is increasing its guard
Why?
because of the storms.
What can a guard do for a storm?
I'll explain later.
Beautiful.
Hello.
The market has everything.
Edsley. I'm sure she has seen many markets before.
Outside?
Yes.
But ours is the best.
We're not far now.
Akat konolshan, ujeh, istikyahiltin kastilti alintal kunak.
Tribute to who?
Ukilich kunitsakil kukulkan, pei, kukantikov tanchumuk titulakal bashkon tekino. Guako tukultikov mayavkin saiktiobe.
I understand.
Nipola lishik, veituno. Tanamanig wabash. Hashmalo bash in silobe in wohibola linishetail.
Matin hach cajol tikech. Bashka betikweye, tushta hokesach lebuko.
It was given to me by Unuratu.
Payaltantanech tumele y shahao. Matin wota imbet le talamilo. Much sasten.
It's all right. Don't worry.
Bashku paktalek beltik tawolal. Ni bola lishik.
It's a bit humbling to be here in Paititi. I didn't foresee any of this. I was expecting an ancient place, artifacts, tombs. I just failed to imagine people. I was so focused on the trail of clues, I didn't even stop to wonder. I didn't mean to interfere, but Trinity's here.
Mila Witch!
I don't know. We're trying to keep a low profile.
I would go. Only I can't abandon my post here, and time is running short. It would mean a lot to Queen Unuratu and the rebellion.
This describes something nearby. A lone sentry stands guard over me and his harvest. Come to Lara. This describes something nearby. Canals bring water to the arid parts of the village, and they washed me away. Should be helpful. I don't have enough space for that. Impossible. I can't carry anymore. This describes something nearby. The waters below protect me from the waters above. This describes something nearby. The youngest of four turns his back on his brothers, unable to speak as I lie in his mouth. Should be helpful. This describes something nearby. I lie silent where arrows once flew, guarding a door which will no longer open. This should come in handy. November 1603. I accompanied Andreas Lopez, a group of 12 soldiers and 2 Molosses through the jungle. The directions the Jesuits provided to Trinity were excellent, so we discovered the hidden city with little difficulty. The natives of the city welcomed us warily, but we plied them with gifts, and they reluctantly allowed us to enter the city, unaware of our true intentions. Lopez has begun to search for the artifact while we distract the city's leaders. 29th of November, 1603. After dinner, Lopez left the city. I followed, worried he might not return. I found him standing by the riverbank, lips moving as though in prayer. Not wishing to disturb him, I waited. His communion with God must have lasted through the night, and I regret to admit I fell asleep, for the next thing I knew, Lopez stood smiling serenely over me, the morning sun behind him, creating a halo. He helped me to my feet and clasped me in a strong embrace. "Truilos, I know where to find the artifact," he whispered in my ear. 30th of November, 1603. With a local man as a guide, Lopez, the soldiers and I set out from the city before first light, just as well, as a terrible flu began to spread through the population. Lopez is convinced his artifact does not lie in the city itself, but somewhere just outside. I asked if it was not somewhat hypocritical to enlist the help of those loathsome people. "Do not loathe them," he said, "any more than you would these Molosses. They are all creations of the Lord our God, as are we." I told him I was stunned to hear him speak in this fashion, but he took my hands and we prayed. The energy of his faith ran from him to me, until I felt the chains of doubt fall from my heart. Trinity's influence is even wider than I thought. They have controlled Paititi for centuries, where they are known as the cult of Kukulkan. Their highest-ranking members in Paititi are called the Serpent Guards. They are picked at a young age from among the best warriors in Paititi, and fight alongside the Jaguar warriors and the Eagle Archers. This is a traditional foot plough, still used in the Andes today, even outside Paititi. Sometimes the simple ways are still the best. The Inca used a combination of freeze-drying and salt to preserve just about anything edible. Charqui and chunos are basically meat and potatoes. Delicious. These ceremonial ceramic jars are used to store corn beer or chicha. The bottom of these urpu are usually pointed, to aid when pouring into smaller serving containers. The people of the Andes have been perfecting the art of weaving for thousands of years. This chuspas is a wonderful example. Woven of llama or alpaca hair and traditionally used to carry cocoa leaves, it clearly highlights the weaver's skill. Beautiful. This depicts the story of Viracocha, the father of all creation. He formed the heavens, the earth, the sun and stars, the moon, time itself, and all living beings, including the other gods. At first, Viracocha was considered to be the supreme god of the Inca, but with time that honor passed to his son, Inti, the god of the sun. Still, Viracocha retained his link to the sea. His name literally means fat or foam of the sea. A heavy-breasted woman wearing serpents around her waist. This is Coatlicue, whose name literally means skirt of snakes. She's also called Tetioinen, the mother of the gods. She gave birth to the moon and the stars and had over 400 children, including the sun god Huitzilopochtli, who was also god of war. In addition to being a mother, she's seen as the devourer of all that lives. It's said that she was herself sacrificed to bring about this current age of creation. As it was foretold, heralded by the column of flame burning through the night, and the destruction of our temples, and the warnings of the weeping woman and the two-headed man, the strange warriors astride great deer arrived with the rising sun. They murdered the weak leaders and claimed the land and the people as their own. After the long dry season, when the rains finally fell, the rats left their burrows looking for more food. They brought with them pests. Those afflicted bleed from their ears and nose and died in terrible pain and terrible numbers, leaving many once populous cities empty. Each Taka of the cult of Kukulkan vows to tie his coat to that of Yutu, descendant of the Maya. Lacking any family of his own, each Taka will live with the parents of Yutu until such time that they have built their own home and hearth. Yutu vows to tie her coat to that of each Taka. She will bear him many children, which they will raise according to the traditions of both their peoples. A ceremonial whistle used during human sacrifices. The sound emitted from the skull-shaped instrument has been compared to the tormented screams of the dying and the dead. Its shrill cry is said to clear a path to the underworld for the recently deceased. The death whistle has also been used as an instrument of war, its cry striking fear into the heart of the unknowing enemy. The Aztec used these to burn incense so they could communicate with the gods. Still smells of copal. Paititi is said to be one of the oldest games in America, played by all walks of life. Players were known to gamble all of their worldly possessions over a single round, from blankets and precious stones to their homes and even their family's freedom. The god of art and games, Makwilshoktl, is considered an active participant in the game, responsible with bestowing offerings upon the winner. So much on the line for a simple game. Some things never do change. Mesoamerican people used this stone as a tool for processing grain and seeds. This jade mask would have been placed on a noble's corpse during his funeral. The artisans were reputedly able to create an almost exact likeness of the wearer. The peak of this mountain is hidden behind thick clouds. I can't be sure what these two smaller hills on either side of the mountain are supposed to represent. It's difficult to make out. People settled between two rivers. They weren't alone. However, these outsiders don't appear dangerous. The protectors failed, and are now doomed to recover what they lost. Villager claims to have seen a strange creature in the streets. They followed it to a walled-in alley where it disappeared. Citizen describes similar experience in Upper City. Woke to discover something trying to climb in a second-story window. When she yelled, it dropped to the street and disappeared. We'll continue to monitor. Oh my god. This is a penguin lawn ornament, painted and decorated and placed in a location of reverence. I shouldn't laugh, but it's so incongruous. The locals wouldn't be able to identify the animal it's intended to represent, and they certainly wouldn't be familiar with the material the statue is made from. There isn't any plastic in Paititi. I'd love to talk to whoever did this and learn why, what they think this penguin is. The pilgrimage came to a fork of two rivers and decided to settle. They erected 2 pyramids and began their new lives as protectors of the box. During a fierce battle, a man of 2 bloods throws down his weapons and, speaking with passions, convinces the other warriors to do the same. They follow him from the battlefield into the city, where they behead several merchants whose initial bickering caused the war. Ill-suited to the local land, the Maya's agriculture techniques of slash and burn soon led to a food shortage. At the risk of starvation, they entered into treaties with local pre-Inca tribes, gaining new technologies and crops. The traders arrived, bringing new goods, and then the farmers, with new crops and techniques. Eventually, as more and more of the outsiders arrived in Paititi, they eventually took administrative control. The Paititians made peace with each other and followed Yaskar Yahweh, recently acclaimed as emperor, to a site in the mountains to begin anew, certain they will not make the same mistakes as those before them. Maya and Inca stood shoulder to shoulder against their brothers on one side, those who wished to retreat and start fresh, and those who wished to expand and conquer neighboring territories. We leave the city at first light, which is just as well, for a terrible disease has spread across it. Dead and dying line the paths and choke the streams. Many are saying it is punishment from the gods. Journal of Adelantado Perez. The new methods of agriculture introduced by the cult of Kukulkan have only succeeded in destroying more crops. First, the bee colonies collapsed. Then the cocoa crop failed. The earth is too damaged for anything but corn to grow, and the stalks are flimsy. We must take action, or Paititi will suffer a tremendous famine. Unuratu approached the throne through the crowd. She walked beside it, but did not sit. "Why do we continue to believe this lie?" she asked the crowd. "Kukulkan controls this city, and I will no longer wear a smile and pretend it is any different. I will not be his puppet, trotted out to wave and smile." The guards cut her off quickly and ushered her away. Then they advanced, with weapons drawn to disperse the crowds. Born to famine, raised in rebellion, orphaned but never alone, he rises as the sun. This Spanish document relates one of the many stories of El Dorado, the Golden One. When the first Spanish exploration ships returned home with their holds full of gold, the news spread like wildfire, and the stories got more extravagant with each retelling. Rumors of the Golden City gave birth to countless expeditions to the New World. Had to put the last remaining mule down yesterday. Broke its leg. Shame. Terrible shame. But I think I found it. Came across an abandoned village that simply must be Z. If only Father were still alive. I'm resting here for the night. Tomorrow I'll begin a thorough investigation of the site. The world will know a Fawcett discovered the lost city. This staff has a jury-rigged flintlock mechanism similar to those from European firearms. The cultist priests must have used this during their ceremonies to awe the crowds. Someone's taken this old walkie-talkie apart. Were they making an attempt at reverse engineering, I wonder? Location found. Hidden. Terrain difficult to traverse. Seems safe from the stranger's intent on forcing us into slavery. Itzamna is the son of the Maya creator god, Hunabku. He was the god of education, responsible for inventing writing and books. This made him an essential figure in the development of Maya culture. He was also god of agriculture and created farming. He even presided over doctors, healing people with the help of his red-hot hand. Usually Itzamna took on a reptilian aspect, but he was also known as Kinichahau, a fire macaw, who was the patron of the number 4 and controlled drought and disease. An Aztec-influenced mask, decorated with items native to the area around Paititi. This elaborate pipe is sculpted to resemble Xicoatl, an Aztec serpent spirit painted in green, blue, and yellow. Its sides are decorated with semi-precious stones. The inclusion of jade indicates at least a measure of Maya influence. The bowl still reeks of burnt roots and smoke, not an entirely unpleasant aroma.